Hello, new Mercerians. On behalf of the Dean's Office of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, I'd like to welcome you to this year's summer orientation. I am thrilled to be able to speak to you today from our beautiful Mercer campus. My name is Achim Kopp. I'm Associate Dean for Student Matters in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. My colleagues in the Dean's Office are Dean Anita Gustafson, a historian by trade, and Associate Dean Jeff Denny, who is a mathematician. And I do hope that when you arrive on campus that you'll be able to meet all three of us. The CLAS Dean's Office is located in the historic Godsey Administration Building right here on the historic quad, and I encourage you, when you come to campus in August, take a moment and come inside and look at the beautiful interior of the building. We are proud to be the university's oldest and largest academic unit with baccalaureate degrees in the humanities, the fine arts, the social sciences and the natural sciences. Last year the college actually changed its name. We changed our name from College of Liberal Arts to College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and I think this is a very indicative change because it shows that we value a truly integrative approach to human knowledge in the college. There is now the question to be asked, what are the liberal arts? And as a professor of Latin, I am very much interested in the historic dimension of this question. I like to find out what the origin of the word is. And in fact, the word liberal arts, the term liberal arts, goes back to the Latin word liber. Liber means free. So in ancient Greece and ancient Rome, the liberal arts were the pursuits of free people. The concept developed further in the Middle Ages, and the artes liberales were then divided into two groups. On the one side there was the trivium, the three-way, and on the other side the quadrivium, the four-way. The trivium included subjects like grammar, rhetoric and logic. The quadrivium included arithmetic, geometry, astronomy and, somewhat surprisingly, music. All this hasn't changed too much in our modern understanding of the liberal arts. We still talk about subjects like arts, humanities, social sciences, natural sciences, and recently also service to community as components of a liberal arts education. Another aspect of a liberal arts education is that we want our students to be actively engaged and that they have the freedom to explore all sorts of subjects during the time that they are here and that they prepare for lifelong learning. We live in a rapidly changing world. Just a couple of years ago, people would use gadgets like telephones, slide rules, bulky cameras, watches, books, pens and maps. Instead of all of this, we simply use one item today, and you all have it in your pockets. It is right here. In a recent study by Forbes magazine, 5 top skills were identified that employers are looking for. The ability to work in a team structure, the ability to make decisions and solve problems, the ability to communicate with others, both in words and in writing, the ability to plan and organize and prioritize work, and the ability to obtain and process information. It is our goal here at Mercer University to equip our students with these skills. The good news for our grads is no matter what you have studied in school, whether it is anthropology or French or math, you will have learned these skills and you will be ready to pursue any career that you choose to pursue. In the next section, I want to talk about the components that are common to both the grade books and the INT tracks. In the integrative track, a student will start with UNV 101 and INT 101. There are two further INT courses, 201 and 301, and also students take courses in various literacy blocks like religious heritage, Western heritage, creative expression, and human behavior and society. I will talk about these blocks in a moment in more detail. Of course, as mentioned before, the natural world, the mathematical reasoning, foreign language, and experiential learning are common to both tracks. In the Great Books track, a student will start with UNV 101 and Great Books 101. In later semesters, students will then go through a series of 6 further Great Books courses, and they also have to satisfy the natural world block, the mathematical reasoning block, the foreign language competency, and the experiential learning requirement. The first requirement is the natural world. In former times this would have probably been called the sciences, and as you can see, these courses come from various disciplines like biology, chemistry, earth and environmental sciences, and physics. Remember, you only have to take one course from this list, but the course that you want to count towards the natural world literacy block has to be on the list. The next requirement is mathematical reasoning. Again, there is a choice of courses, and they don't all come from mathematics. As you can see, there is a course in computer science as well as in philosophy and in statistics. Students in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences also have to satisfy the foreign language competency requirement. You can do this in several ways. You can either enroll in Foreign Language 111, 112, which is a sequence of 2 courses on the beginning level in either Chinese, French, German, Greek, Latin, or Spanish. Or if you have studied a language, foreign language at school, you can take the placement exam, and if you demonstrate proficiency, you can actually place out of the requirement or place in a somewhat higher level, of course. There's even a third way to satisfy the foreign language requirement, and this is by permission from the department chair. If you maybe are a heritage speaker of a language that we do not offer here at Mercer, and you are proficient and you can demonstrate that, please apply to the foreign language department chair, and you will be able to take a test and thereby satisfy the requirement. The last component that is common to both the INT track and the Great Books track is experiential learning. These are courses that I want to say students in the college almost get automatically. If you do supervised undergraduate research or service learning or maybe study away, including study abroad, Mercer on mission, an internship, any of these kinds of activities will count towards this requirement. Let's now talk about the literacy blocks that are only to be taken by those students who choose the integrative track. One of them is Western heritage, and you can see there is a wide array of courses that can be taken in that block. They come from a wide array of disciplines. What the courses have in common is that they all address in some way the development of Western civilization. The next block is religious heritage. Once again, each student only chooses one course to satisfy the requirement, and the courses come from a variety of departments. It's not only religion per se, but also Africana study, English, history and philosophy that offer courses that would satisfy this requirement. The third block that only students on the integrative track have to satisfy is human behavior and society. In the old days, we would have probably said that these are the social sciences. So you find a number of political science courses here, communication studies, economics, but also psychology and sociology, and women and gender studies. The final block that is specific to the integrative track is creative expression. We divide it into two separate groups. The first one is creative expression study. Here a student would take a course that looks at how artists approach their particular kind of art. The second group is different in that it is the production of creative expression. So in other words, students themselves produce art, and they take a course perhaps in painting or drawing, or an English course in creative writing, or a theater course in which they themselves act and learn how to act. Also, our music ensemble courses here at Mercer count into that particular block. Let me now talk about the Great Books program. The Great Books program has been a part of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences curriculum since 1982-83. We are very proud of this program because it makes us unique among colleges of our size. The Great Books program pursues an interdisciplinary approach to Western culture. Our courses are small. They are taught in a seminar format. We do not lecture to our students. We don't even have final exams. What is important to us is the text. So we look at primary texts, and our motto is the book is the teacher. So it is not the professor who lectures to the students, but we use primary texts to help us understand some of the most important questions that have been asked in Western civilization. The Great Books program consists of a series of 7 courses which order the material in more or less a chronological order. As you can see from this list of authors, the first text that we read in Great Books 101 is Homer. So the oldest text that we have in the Western tradition. And the list of authors ends with Du Bois and O'Connor. So that means we have arrived at the very end of the series of courses in the 20th century. Notice that not all texts that are read in the Great Books program are necessarily literary texts. There are also texts from the social sciences, for example, Freud, or the sciences such as Mendel and Darwin. To summarize the information that I just gave you about both the INT track and the Great Books track, I would like to show you a checklist, the academic checklist for foundational studies that you actually have a link for. As you can see, the checklist consists of 2 parts. And the top part is the information for the integrative program. At the bottom is the information for the Great Books program. Remember, you only have to do one of those 2 tracks. But I would encourage you to take a good look at the checklist and maybe together with your academic advisor, and as you go through the various courses over time, always check them off so that you know exactly where you stand in relation to graduation. Having discussed the foundational studies, we can now turn our attention to the academic majors. There are lots and lots of different possibilities here at Mercer. I'm not going to read the list of possible majors to you, but as you can see, there are three larger groups. The first group are the more traditional majors. The second group is what we call interdisciplinary majors. They tend to be a little larger, and as you remember, I told you earlier that there is a requirement for additional depth. If a student chooses a major versus an interdisciplinary major, that student will have to satisfy additional depth. If a student chooses an interdisciplinary major, additional depth is already included in those majors. If nothing of all of this speaks to you, you always have the opportunity to get an individualized major. All you have to get is the approval of 3 faculty members. Draw up your own plan and bring it to my office for approval, and you will have yourself an individualized major. A student can declare a major after midterm of the second semester, so that will typically happen in spring of the first year. You must formally declare a major before you have earned 65 hours. If you don't do that, you'll get a nasty letter from me where I ask you to declare a major and threaten you with signing you up for Latin if you don't. A major consists of at least 27 hours with at least 15 hours on the upper division. And remember, you have to have a 2.0 average in the major as well as overall in order to graduate. The list of minors that are available is almost as extensive as the one for the majors. Again, I'm not going to read all the possibilities. Academic minors consist of 15 to 18 hours with at least 6 hours of upper division work. After foundational studies, majors and minors, the third component is additional depth. There are 3 ways at Mercer to satisfy the additional depth requirement. You can either choose a second major or a minor, or if you have decided to pursue one of those interdisciplinary majors, you are actually already set and you do not need to add any additional depth. The scene on the right will play out many times this coming August. I can speak from experience. My wife and I are getting ready to send our 3rd child to college this summer, and tears will be shed yet again. But remember, this is one of the most thrilling times in your lives, and we here at Mercer stand ready to make your transition into college life as smooth as possible. I look forward to meeting you in person in August.
Good afternoon, everyone. We hope you enjoyed your orientation day. In the next couple of weeks, there's a couple of final steps through your admission process that we want to encourage you to take. First, if you haven't yet requested your final transcripts from both your high school as well as any dual enrollment from the college, please make sure that you do that in the coming weeks. Also, you want to submit your immunization form as well to Student Health, or you can submit that to admissions and we'll get it to them. Lastly, if you haven't yet had a chance to connect with your admissions counselor to review your financial aid, this afternoon's a really good time to do that, or in the coming weeks. We want to make sure that you're well prepared for the fall. We can't wait to see you on campus, and go Bears!
Thank you so much, Dr. Holloway. We really do hope you enjoyed our presentation this morning. I hope that hearing from our students, our faculty, our staff really provided a lot of answers for you for the questions that you may have. But I also realize that you probably have more questions, and that's absolutely fine. Myself, my staff, we're excited to answer those questions for you. We want you to email us at orientation@mercer.edu, and we'll be reaching out and getting responses to any questions that may still be on your mind. Now don't worry, we've got a lot more excitement for you this afternoon. We've got a great presentation by Auxiliary Services about bear cards, dining services, the bookstore, and so much more. We've got the Academic Resource Center, quite literally talking about academic resources and how they're going to help you succeed in the fall. We've got our pre-health tracks presentation by Dr. Carol Bokros, if you're interested in any of our lovely offerings. And finally, we've got an orientation resource fair presentation where a lot of our departments and staffs have come together to tell you about what they're going to be offering as you arrive and throughout your journey at Mercer University. Finally, you've got an advising appointment this afternoon. You would have received an email from me with details about that this morning, but if you're still unsure about how to access it, and maybe the email hasn't provided you enough context, we've got a subpage on our orientation platform. In that subpage, you're going to find plenty of information. Make sure you arrive a little early to the Zoom room for your advising appointment. Make sure that you've thought through any of the questions you may have, whether it's about your college or school or maybe specifics on your schedule. And if you have any questions after that advising appointment, like I said, I'm here for you. My team's here for you. We're all at Mercer University ready and excited for your arrival. Thank you so much for joining us, and go Bears.